Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. It's Thursday night, it's ladies' night, it's time to talk 40k. And we need to answer the question, if you're an arsehole, can you win events? That's the theme of today. But before we move on to...
Well, it's been answered recently, Rob, hasn't it?
It has been answered recently. Before we move on, let's talk about everyone who's here. Nick, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Well,
yeah,
you are
I'm all
always great.
jazzed up on energy drink.
Oh, sweet potatoes. And Tom Layton from the studio, live from downtown.
Downtown?
Downtown, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Oh, wonderful. Thanks very much for asking.
Oh, lovely.
Lovely, lovely. So hello to everyone live on Twitch. Thanks for joining us every Thursday. Full Greamer, Dr. Robotnik, Alandro, to name a few. Alandro, thank you for being a subscriber for 3 months.
Ooh.
We love you and your big dick energy.
He's got Big Willie.
No, it's just the energy that you give. There you go. Thank you to everyone on Patreon and Twitch who supports the show. You guys are wonderful. If you guys are interested or excited, you should be interested because the Honest Wargamer team is going to be at Capital City Bloodbath doing the live coverage from the 40k event for the Canhammer guys. Nick, you're not coming, but I've heard you're on a holiday.
No, I'm at James of James Workshop's wedding.
James of James Workshop's wedding. What a nice guy. Go on, Tom.
Second biggest achievement over the last 2 months.
Yes, it will be. Yeah, it will be his second biggest achievement.
His second biggest achievement. Hi, the big goldfish, Retisanti, Battle Chode. I hope you're good. Made it live. Aloha to you too. About to say sometimes the energy lies, says Eladro. Does. Right, so we're here to talk 40k. It's going to be a shortish show today. We're going to talk about the news from the 40k. We were going to do part 2 of me picking an army, but because we're doing some event coverage at the weekend, and I won't lie, it's a bit like when you've got your homework to hand in at the last minute. You're like, oh shit. So I imagine we're going to be cancelling an AOS show sometime.
Or your army list.
And then getting a dog to eat all this is a bit of a challenge.
It's such a challenge, yeah. And then walking in.
Depends how many dogs you have, I guess.
I guess it does. Yeah. And that's the point.
A pit of them would probably do, wouldn't it?
Yeah. A pit of dogs?
Yeah, there's a pit of dogs.
What about Pit Bull, that singer? I reckon he could do it.
The one who went to Alaska.
He went to Alaska?
Yeah, so his marketing team ran a poll online where Pitbull would go to any Walmart in the country, and 4chan found it and made him go to Alaska.
This is why I don't fuck with the internet. I just do the show, I thank everyone for being brilliant, and then I leave the fuck alone.
Yeah. 4chan's fine, yeah. I'm sure that'll be...
PokeJohn, hello. Right, before we get into it, Nick, how are you?
I'm good, yeah. I'm all excited now because I'm going away on holiday tomorrow, so I'm in holiday mode already.
Okay. Are you taking any Warhammer with you? Yeah, good question, Tom.
I'm taking my phone to... I'll probably do some list scheming on holiday, that's for sure. I'm going to make a little video from the photos and video that I took from League of Nights. So I'm going to do some of that. And then, apart from that, it'll just be scheming because I've got some events coming up in the future that I'll have some nice, relaxing list scheming time on holiday.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right, scheming list. New army, maybe?
Not new army. Well, I've been thinking about expanding my Thousand Suns part of my chaos bit because currently I've only got 3 sorcerers.
No, not enough sorcerers, really.
Only 3?
Yeah, only 3. So I've been thinking about sort of expanding that bit a little bit. So I might scheme some lists for Thousand Suns.
Okay. Have you thought about just painting up like an incredibly boring army, like a bunch of just gold custodians, and just slowly moving forward while being really passive aggressive to your opponent?
I thought about that, but I'm not an arsehole, so I'm not going to do that.
I don't know why you'd be passive aggressive when you could just be straight aggressive.
Yeah, just straight aggressive to the point of rude. Yeah. To the point of rude. Maybe it's just our English persuasion though. Like when we see people be what's the right word? A dickhead. You just think, why don't you not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about now?
Yeah. How about now? Oh, Andy Lee, thanks for subscribing to Twitch Prime. I think it's the first time you've subscribed, Andy Lee. So I hope that big dick energy is feeling good for you.
Welcome to the Brotherhood.
Growing.
Yeah, join the Brotherhood. The growing crew. So I, for one, so you're going on holiday, Nick. That's exciting.
Yes.
Tom?
So I was down at Warhammer World yesterday. I had a quick practice game down there. Bumped into Jonathan Etland as well.
I didn't see you.
No, I left at 5.
Oh, okay.
I left about 5 o'clock. Jonathan was down there playing some games, so I was testing out a new orc list. Also, Fluxy just did a thing.
Yeah, no, I've seen. So Fluke's a lot in the chat. If you guys haven't joined us, if you're listening to the podcast, you guys are great. Make sure you stay hydrated. But if you haven't joined us live on the Twitch, you should get in there. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, by the way, jump into good old fancy Twitch. We'll take some questions and thoughts off you. But Sir Fluke's a lot has just donated 5 subs in the chat as well. So you can get yourself a subscription, which means you get to use our fantastic little emotes in other channels. Also, you might want to get yourself an emote, especially when we do the Capital City Bloodbath 40k coverage, because I don't know if you guys have seen, if you guys are 40k fans, you haven't seen the AOS coverage, not only are we going to have some fancy Swish cameras to do the CCB coverage with, we'll also we have some pretty stellar commentary. I mean, we have Val Heffelfinger himself, doing some commentary. Huh?
The Hef.
Yeah. The Hef.
Is that his nickname? I don't know.
That's his, the Full Hef.
The Full Hef.
And then you've also got arguably the third best 40k commentator of all time, me. Yeah, both Tom and you, Nikos, being better than me.
Oh, I thought you were going to put Val and Nikos in there. But
no, fuck Val. He's never done it. Like, he's currently 0%. Yeah, he might be good.
In the Warhammer, it doesn't matter.
The man is divine. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's got the words, but we haven't put him under the 2.5 hour pressure. I remember, if I can just go on an incredibly big tangent, because fuck it, I'm gonna. I remember the very first time we did any 40k coverage, and by we I mean when I set up Games Workshop's live stream, we took it to the Las Vegas Open. We did the 40k coverage in the Las Vegas Open. I saw Dave from Mini Wargaming. At this point, Mini Wargaming and Games Workshop had a very bad relationship, so I saw those guys. Did you guys not know that? There's a really famous. There's a big famous video you can go and watch of Matt being very critical of Games Workshop online. But they basically had a really tough relationship. So I basically went up to the Mini Wargaming guys. I was like, you guys should come on the stream. Have you ever tried to commentate on a game? And then Matt was like, what? Games Workshop don't talk to us? I was like, come on, Dave. I love you guys. Come on. So then Dave came and did some commentary with me, but it only lasted like an hour and a half and he got tired. He was like, oh, this is too hard. I can't do this. And then he left.
Dave, you are weak.
Yeah, no, Dave is not weak. He's a great guy. He is weak, though.
His mouth is.
Yeah, no, yeah, he is weak. That's true.
Also, to be fair, I actually have never done 40k commentary.
Oh, okay.
So I did League of Knights, and then I did the in-field, didn't I?
Yeah. It's easy, really.
Nobody's doubting your ability to speak, Tom.
Oh.
For a long time and at great speed as well.
Yeah, we if anything, we're doubting your ability to shut the fuck up. So Ixtab. Anyway, if you haven't joined us for live commentary and done that cool stuff, a gorgeous man called Sir Flukes a lot. He's a bit of a Scottish wizard. Has just donated some subscriptions to guys in the chat. So thank you very much. Dashme himself has subscribed. Keep up all the awesome stuff. I'll keep giving you money. Says Dashme. We'll try.
Can't guarantee it, but we'll try.
See, it's all about managing expectations nowadays, right? You're just like, look, turn up, we'll probably do all right. But it's better than the bad job that other people are doing, right? Oh, the Saurus Knight.
Spicy.
Thanks for subscribing. Yeah, he's great, the Saurus Knight, FYI. Also, Xtab says Tom was an excellent infield reporter. We are going to miss you at the CCBB, Tom.
Yeah, that's fine. Just take some European lists with you instead, and then you'll get the full experience. Fine.
There won't. There'll be loads of Canadians and Yankee Doodle dandies all playing. I'm very excited. I imagine those wargamers are going to get short thrift, seeing as you've been cussing them for nearly 2 years now.
I had a break of about 6 months to stop cussing NA, and then they reverted back to getting Heldrakes in the top 8 of events. So,
but he's a very, very nice guy.
Who is?
The guy that came second, the Canadian.
Oh, no, but Heldrakes were run by Don Hooson.
Were they not?
Hooson?
Whoson
is
he?
So Don Hooson is the guy who won BAO.
Who's
he the son of?
Who's his dad?
Yeah.
No idea.
You don't know who his dad is?
No, so that's why I'm asking you. I am. That's why I said Hooson.
Good.
Goodness me. So, yeah, he came top 8, I think, with some Heldrakes in his list and then a bunch of Mortal Wounds. Jim wasn't actually running any Heldrakes. So.
What?
There's Heldrakes in top 8, so NA, your meta sucks.
Jim is the guy who came up with that really cool technique that I think I told you about, where he always leaves 5 points reinforcement reserves in his list. Deep strikes as horrors, chargers takes some Overwatch, and hopefully they kill one. Then he can place a horror couple of inches closer, and then make his 9-inch charge a 6-inch charge, which I think is incredibly clever.
Yeah.
I think
He's a
I
smart
think that
potato.
might be disallowed in the ETC FAQ though.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, the ETC has its own FAQ.
Yeah, we have like a 50-page FAQ for all the stuff GW doesn't cover.
Wow. Okay, that's exciting. I'd like to read that. Never.
I can send it to you. Actually. I'll pin it in this.
Burn. Hi, Sinise. How you doing, Pokey John? Right. Okay. Let's go. Hi. So, what did I talk about? I just said thank you to Fluxy, but I was asking Tom. You played some 40k recently, or did something?
I did. I was playing with some orcs, testing out a new list. I want to.
Are you allowed to say what the list is, Tom?
It's orcs.
Did you have looters in it?
Yes.
Yes. Did you have killer cans in it?
Yes.
You're definitely lying. So he definitely had no looters and no killer cans.
Yeah, no killer cans.
You'll have to ask someone who was there, my dude. But then there were a lot of frogs on the table.
My guess is you got Storm Boys in there?
Yes. I had some Pink Horrors on the table, I had some Guardsmen on the table, I had an Apothecary on the table, I had some Space Wolf Terminators on the table. So you'll have to ask someone who was there what was in my list, and even then you're not entirely sure.
Meganobs.
Terminators and Meganobs. Yeah.
Sinise has asked if God please let Nathan read and review the ETC FAQ. That would be worth money.
That would be fun.
That would be very
worse than death.
Yeah, that would be, especially Tom, if you were to read it with him. That would be a meeting of worlds. Anyway, cool. Simple says that the mic'd up tables at BAO was great, though. Did you guys happen to catch the BAO coverage? And
I caught some of it.
I caught some of it, yeah.
And did you like the mic'd up coverage?
I thought it was a bit more boring, to be honest. It just feels like you're just listening into a conversation rather than actually discussing what's going on with someone.
Yeah, I'd rather have... If there's going to be coverage of Warhammer, I'd prefer them to be commentators. But if they're not that type of setup and they're just showing a game, I think it's all right to have them players mic'd up.
I mean, it's easier.
Yeah. I don't think it's... Yeah.
If you'd like to just wander about and get some beers instead of commentating, that's fine. But I don't know. I feel like the commentary adds more, personally. But me.
Definitely has more drama and excitement.
I mean, yeah, agreed. I mean, I like that's why we have it on our show. But it's always good to hear, especially I wanted to read it out because Simple put it in the chat. He thinks mic'd up table's good. Sweet, no problems.
I think it can give people like the games that we've done on stream where we've done it over explains, where we've played a game and explaining what you're doing, and it can help people who might not be as experienced as the people playing the game to learn new things. So watching the game when the players are mic'd up, as long as they're explaining what they're doing and why, it might help people pick up sort of tips and tricks from that, I guess.
Yeah. Ixab saying the mic's pretty good. Simple says specifically lets you know what's going on more easily, especially when not much is moving or dying on the table. And Ixab says the thing is, a lot of commentary we see, the commentators don't really know what the fuck is going on.
So this is the point here. So if you're talking about just kind of knowing what's going on the face of it, it's fine, because everything that the two players will be talking about is stuff that they both know. Whereas if you're really trying to break down why people are doing things, or in things that maybe someone's trying to catch someone out and the opponent doesn't quite realize it and falls for the bait, you won't get that from the on the table mic, right?
I think it's also hard to catch up if you join a game halfway through. Realistically,
yeah. Although what they did when I watched the BA Open, they had someone I think at the bottom or the top of each round, they had someone
I'll do a review,
chip in and go, I'll just give you a quick recap of what happened during this turn, which was quite good.
That's quite nice. They do something similar in poker. I've always thought about doing that as a mechanic, but realistically, I think you need you need a producer on the table who can take that information in, and arguably especially for new players or people who want to build some interest, you have to have some intimate knowledge of the two things that are occurring on the tabletop while you're listening, which can be quite intense and hard to do, I would say. Those are my thoughts. Sini says mic'd up was cool at the LVO. Took some of the pressure for the inexperienced commentators. They did a turn recap, like a mixed players, and end of turn wrap up commentators talking after key rolls. Yes, but then you can miss what's happening next, right? So you still got to feed info. It's an interesting world we're going in. More and more people trying to do streamed coverage and developing their own system. I'm pretty much fucking rock solid feet in the ground that it requires a commentary team.
Agreed.
Those are my thoughts. But always open to be challenged on it. So we just let the conversation occur then, and feel free. I'll go watch some. I think I don't like to. Plus, I fucking can't wait to watch just one really fucking roided up nerd fucking be really aggressive on a table. Can't wait to watch it. That's gonna be
That's
fun.
going to be me in 3 months, dude. I've been out of the gym for about a month, so I need to catch up somewhere, right?
Yeah. All right. So you've been playing some orcs, Tom, and the reason Tom's being a bit reluctant about talking about his orc list is because he is going to be playing at the ETC at some point, so he might be running Tau, or he might be running orcs, or Grey Knights, or Thousand Suns,
Or Night Haunts.
or Night Haunts. Like no one knows.
Nobody knows.
So he's now in the obfuscating what he's playing stage because he doesn't want the other teams to know. Is that correct, Tom?
I kind of, yeah. I am playing orcs though, but it's more a case of what's in my orc list.
See the massive double down and big bluff. Yeah, playing orcs.
I'm playing orcs.
Winky face.
Winky face.
Yeah. Looters are bad, winky face.
Okay.
Yeah. Is this the long con?
Yeah,
This
the
is the
long
long
con.
con. For
It's
You know what
been
you've
for
been
a long
doing?
con from like November last year.
That would be a great con. I'd love that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
All right, so 40k. Let's talk about the FAQs. Games
Yeah,
Workshop
let's do
just
it,
dropped
yeah.
another FAQ on us, which is
An
exciting.
FAQ for the FAQ.
Figure the FAQ. The fact for fact.
So you guys, Tom, you've got it up. You're going to start reading to
I
us.
do. I've got it on my 920 by 1080. So we've done a few things. So the first thing that we've changed is for the Warhammer 40k rulebook, where essentially we're just clarifying when stratagems can apply. So, for example, if you have a stratagem that says use a stratagem in your shooting phase, and but it's not the shooting phase, but you're doing something that accesses the shooting phase, can you then use a stratagem, right? And
Yeah.
so the answer is, with the exception of stratagems, all rules that would apply in a specific phase apply to actions that are taking place as if it were that phase. So stratagems don't apply, but everything else does.
So, like an example of this might be the showing off stratagem for orcs.
Yeah.
So,
you can't do that
at the last
assault
GT
phase.
heat, I dropped down, charged a bunch of looters with my bloodletters. He overwatched me, and then he used showing off to overwatch me twice.
That's the Bad Moon stratagem to fire again.
Yeah, so you can't do that now.
You
But,
can't
like,
do that anymore.
if they had like an example I can think of for Chaos Space Marines is the Endless Cacophony. So it's a similar thing to the showing off stratagem. You shoot again.
Yeah.
So if you charge a Chaos Marine squad, they get the reroll ones hit from your Chaos Sorcerer Lord, but you can't, after you've overwatched, use the Endless Cacophony to shoot again.
Yeah.
You get like buffs and stuff from the
Pretty much. It's pretty straightforward with that one. So you can still use like stratagems that allow you to shoot as a shooting phase and stuff deep strikes. But then because you're not shooting as a shooting phase, you don't get to use a stratagem to improve your shooting anyway. So I couldn't then use like, Mordaka or something like that, even though you don't have an intercept stratagem bigger.
Yeah.
The second one that they've got is actually, I didn't expect this one, but I love it.
Ooh.
It regards the counter-offensive stratagem, so that's the stratagem that allows you to interrupt in close combat. So now the way I was playing this was if my opponent used something like Paroxysm or Vexator Mask on one of my units, that unit can't fight until everything else is fought. So I can't interrupt with it. I can't use the stratagem to interrupt and fight, right? But what they're saying in this ruling is that the intention for that stratagem is that it's to interrupt the normal flow of combat, and that includes things like Paroxysm and Vexator Mask.
Yeah.
So if you use Paroxysm, Mind Control, Vexator Mask, these types of things in a unit of Orc Boys, and you charge it, I can then interrupt afterwards. Like, straight away, and ignore the Paroxysm or Mind Control. It's brilliant.
Are you talking about always strikes first inside 40k?
Yeah, I know. ASF, ASL, yeah.
Oh my god, here it comes. The activation wars arrives in 40k. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, that's I mean, there was already units that if they charged, they struck first, right?
Yeah.
Witches are a prime example. I'm pretty certain witches can.
Which is
Yeah, James are.
Which one? Witches? Which?
Howling Banshees can.
The witch called witches.
Witches?
Those witches.
Yeah.
Which witches?
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a solid shout personally. But yeah, activation wars potentially coming to 40k. You heard it here first. Maybe.
Nice.
Dun dun dun.
Number 3.
And if you don't know what the activation wars are, they're awful. They're worse than the trade wars.
Yeah.
In Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
I saw a screenshot of the AOS FAQ
quite...
for it. It's like an entire novel
in
itself.
Yeah.
With like Unit A and Unit B and really complicated examples, which is like, What?
Yeah.
I think
I
the TLDR about this FAQ for the 40k one, which is really interesting, is Games Workshop are now 2 for 2.
Yeah, so I tweeted out on this, and I said something along the lines of, "Oh, it's great that Games Workshop can come out and like clear up some of the more goofy stuff rather than owning it and waiting and owning that rather than waiting until September and just pretending it's not there."
Yeah,
So
no,
there's
I think it's excellent. Like it's a double down. Like
Yeah.
twice. Like they've nailed it twice. Now, do I think it's great? We'll review that at the end. I think it's fine. I think it's good. Because we are comparing it to travesties of the past. But like that's good. Like they're now at like we can do a moderate job twice in a row.
It was more interesting for me that people from the AOS community came out and said, I wish the 40k guys were doing AOS.
No,
I was like, damn, something must have gone wrong at AOS.
Yeah, just the FAQs. Just the FAQs. I'd rather they didn't do FAQ, but we'll talk about it another time. So anyway, what's the third thing you can do?
Third thing is the Tau Empire, which is everyone's favourite faction, and I've just made it even more fun.
The most fun army to play.
This entire paragraph, because we talked about this when the FAQ dropped. So here's the paragraph. The Tau have a lot of firepower, but not quite as much as we might have suggested in our previous updates.
Oops.
We accidentally implied the Fireblade's volley fire ability applies at all ranges. And so, to be extra clear, we've tightened up the wording on the FAQ entry in question. So what was happening here was, because of the way we worded the FAQ, the big FAQ, and the FAQs that accompanied it, if you had a Cadre Fireblade near your squads of Fire Warriors, you could fire 3 times at short range and twice at long, when the intention is 3 times at short and once at long.
There you go.
They've changed that. They have fixed it. Stop abusing it. Apparently, Tau players were crying over this. Fuck off. You shouldn't have been having these issues anyway. Come on. Like, you knew what was going on. They've also errated Long Strike, so you can add the Hammerhead keyword to him, which I think is probably the intent, but, you know.
That's good. That's good. I like this. I like that they've just come up with another one. They haven't waited for a predetermined slot of time. They've just gone, this needs sorting out a bit, and we'll do it.
Well, there's one more in the Tau section where they've FAQ the greater good ability.
They've changed these rules, and the rules before them weren't beta rules. So I'm confused as to how they're changing these rules.
Hold on. So
because they FAQ'd one rule, and then they've FAQ'd the FAQ because the FAQ ruined the rule.
But they haven't put any of them through the beta process.
No.
Yeah.
Surely, before a rule can become a rule, it must be betaed. Otherwise, how could they ever?
How can they possibly change it?
That's the purpose.
That's the purpose of all beta rules, right?
Yeah.
Every rule must be a beta rule. Otherwise, we can't commit.
No.
They're just willingly committing to rules.
Yeah, they're just growing big willies and they're just going for it, man.
What?
Big balls workshop.
What?
Just going for it.
They're just doing it. Wow.
Unbelievable.
That is unbelievable. That is, someone has come in there, like, fucking with big size 9s, just kicked the door and he's gone, right, lads, we're going to release moderate FAQs, yeah? And we won't even need to say the word beta. Woohoo! Must be some strong coffee going off in Lenton right now.
We have got another FAQ for the Tau, though, which is a greater good ability. So when you charge a Tau unit, any unit within 6 inches can also overwatch. And what a few Tau players were doing, not all, because I didn't do this, were saying, oh, well, I've overwatched with this unit now, and you're still alive, so I'm going to overwatch with this unit now as well. And they've just FAQ'd to say that you have to declare all of them at the same time, which is how I thought it was anyway, but now there's no excuse for not doing it. So.
Tau players seem an interesting bunch, don't they?
Almost the same as Custodes players. Yeah. What are you trying to say about Tau players?
Oh dear.
Well, Tom said they were crying about the change to the Fireblade rule, and then doing this kind of weird shit like overwatching one unit at a time until you're dead.
Yeah. And then these units haven't overwatched, so they're fine.
Symbol says apparently Tau FAQs need to be a bit clearer than other factions. Make of that what you will. I've heard the next set of Tau Codex is just going to be all pictures.
It's almost like you can give a Tau army to a baboon and they'll still win.
And with that, Datcom in the chat said, I just started playing Tau.
Datcom's a baboon.
All right, what's next?
We got number 4, Codex Death Watch.
Yes!
So they made a change to special issue ammunition to explain how it combines with like the Bolter discipline ability, the Bolter beater. And they've got a lot of emails about that. And they got a lot of emails asking whether it applied or not. And I thought they covered this in the FAQ where it said
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
But apparently the answer is simply yes. When firing special issue ammunition, the modifications to the rapid fire ability that bolt discipline make do not apply. Okay, so basically you can use the bolter beater so long as you don't use the special ammunition.
Okay.
That's pretty fine. I've never changed how many.
But wait, hold on. But the bolter beater rule is still a beater rule.
It's still a beta rule. I think it's a beta rule, is it? Or was it made into a full rule in the FAQ? Big FAQ.
I don't think it's a full-bodied rule.
No.
Full-bodied bolter rule.
No, they're still allowed to. I think they're still allowed to change that rule.
Yes.
So.
No, it's a full rule. It's a full rule now.
Full rule now.
It's full-bodied.
Oh, so they'll never change it.
It's not called
it'll never be changed.
Never be changed.
Yeah, so
they just changed it.
Yeah, so they can never change it now because it's a full rule.
Yeah, you can't ever FAQ or out of full rule.
No. Once a rule is fully in place.
Because when they write the rules, once they've passed the beta process, don't they have like a big stone tablet in HQ?
Yeah.
They hammer chisel it all in. So
before that, it's written as the beta rule on a piece of paper. Just it's not even paper, napkins.
Yeah.
Just this. Steve, tell the lads.
You know that big sun lamp in the place with the maces in Game of Thrones that's used in the opening sequence?
Yeah.
Bands that go around. It's like no.
Yeah.
I think they just carve all their rules into that.
Okay.
So you can just see heroic deeds of like the games developers playing other games developers and like one guardsman stabbing a knight to death or something.
Yeah, this is actually a beta alpha rule from the end
beta
of time. Yeah. So that's good that Deathwatch got a little bit of clarification there because they were all really upset about their bolters.
They haven't just changed that though. They've also restricted how many heavy weapons veterans can get.
Okay.
So the wording is specifically up to 4 veterans may replace their bolt gun with an item from the heavy weapons list. If they do so, these models cannot be given any other war gear options from this war gear options list. And then they can replace their bolt gun with a heavy thunder hammer, and the same wording applies. You can't give them any.
So you can't have a thunder hammer and a storm shield anymore.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you can't from that.
Scriver says pop culture references from Tom. What fresh hell is this? Also, big love to the Scriv.
Yeah, here he comes. Here come that boy.
Yeah.
And then they've also added in a Space Wolf FAQ for the bolter discipline ability. So apparently with Blood Claws, Grey Hunters, and Long Fangs mixed units in pages 93, 94, and 114, change the mixed units ability to read the purposes of determining what models a vehicle can transport, and for the bolter discipline ability, Wolfguard, Terminator, Pet Lead keyword. So it's just making it more clear who can use bolter.
In a squad of mixed Marines in Space Force, if you have a Terminator Sergeant or Wolfclaw leader in there, he gets the beta bolter rule. No, sorry, the bolter rule. But the rest of the squad doesn't.
Yeah, that's correct.
Unless they stand still, obviously.
Yeah.
So just in the chat, the guys are just helping us out. You can't have a heavy thunder hammer and store shield, which is obviously different to a thunder hammer.
Normal. Okay, I didn't realise.
Yeah, the heavy thunder hammer is a pretty cool little like fucking weapon as well, like the little model. Yeah, it's badass. It's badass. If only I could be asked. Is how I feel. If only is how I feel about that army. Okay. So how do we feel about that? Not bothered. Just some nice clarity.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, I'm very glad they sorted out the Tau shooting 3 at long range.
I'm just glad that it made Tau players sad.
Yeah.
We decided we all hate Tau. Is that what?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got
I still have a very real hatred for the Eldar, but Tau.
Are they picking? Are they the baddies now?
Yeah, they're moving into the.
I always like it when there's a new baddie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Because I think they've spent. Since 40K's release, they've spent a couple of years trying to iron out the kinks in Eldar.
Yeah.
And they've made some pretty good headway. Well,
have they?
Well, they've been putting up the points of Reapers, and they've finally sorted out Yunari and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And like the flyer spam abuse that people were doing, they've kind of made some headway in sorting that out.
Yep.
But I feel like all this time, Tau have been kind of like slipping under the radar a little bit because they've got loads of weird rules, like particularly the drones, the shield drones. I think they need sorting out the way they work.
Drones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Broken.
Just the fact that you shoot a damage 6 weapon at a thing, it takes it on a 2+, and then saves that damage 6 on one 5+ roll and stays alive. It just seems
insane.
Yeah, doesn't
Yeah.
seem
Feels
like
good, man. Yeah.
Wartsman says, to be fair, playing Primaris Gunline is super yawn as well. But look, who doesn't like the Emperor's Angels, the chosen of the space god?
I
Me.
just like.
Me is the answer. It's the Adeptus Mechanicus or nothing for me. Maybe
Is
possibly
it? Because I
Chaos
thought we
or
were going to be making you a new army.
Chaos or Orcs.
All right, good.
Yeah. Marine Tyranid says, don't just make drones work like every other bodyguard unit, which I agree
Nope.
with.
Oh, but just make them. Yeah, do that. There you go.
Okay, right.
Make them
So
more expensive.
what's next?
League of Knights.
Oh, was that it?
was the
Is
end
that
of
the whole
FAQ.
thing?
That was the,
Yeah, that was
the
it.
mini-
There were only
mini
5.
FAQ.
So what are your wrap-ups? What are your thoughts about that?
How mad Death Watch Jelly? I don't know.
No, Nick.
No. I'm
Same
very
thing?
happy about the orc change with the counter offensive. That's kind of fun. I like that.
No.
My thoughts are fuck Tau.
Yeah, well, it's nice.
Yeah.
All right, but for me personally, I think that's really great. That's really good. Like that they're bringing out. They're not waiting until either a chapter approved or something, and they're willing to just drop things. It is a little bit worrying. Obviously, from a design perspective, because it's a very expensive hobby, and like you could, especially 40k in some ways, like like you would drop. An example: the Custodes tanks we've all decided are a little bit too cheap.
Calidius, yes.
Yeah, the Gladius. So now that they showed a willingness to just randomly drop something, that's a little bit worrying because you might have just picked up 2, which would set you back like 160 quid in the UK or something crazy. And obviously in other countries £1,000. But and then the points might change, but they haven't done any points changes. They've done some FAQs. That's nice. So it's quite nice having the structure that they had previously because you could pretty much guarantee that it would happen sometime around when they said it was going to happen. In a kind of 2-month window, which is nice. But then they have just done atrocity after atrocity of FAQ, and the recent FAQs, like if nothing else, are just fine. They're just okay-ish, which is great.
Last time we gave the analogy of the latest FAQ being a dude who shows up to work, he's got a new shoot and he's shaved.
Yeah.
What's the analogy for this follow-up one? Is this the fact that he came back the second day?
Yeah.
You mean he turned up for day 2? Good lord.
Yeah. Or he did extra work at home that he didn't need to.
Yeah, I think. What? No. What did he do? I think the next day he possibly was. I don't know. Like, maybe he came in the next day, apologised to everyone because he realised he'd been using their mugs in the break room when he shouldn't have.
Washed them all for him.
Yeah, just something small, but just like self-aware and just like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I'll correct my behaviour from yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So that's good. Yeah, so I'm quite happy that they're willing to make those changes. There's the caveat though that obviously an inconsistent playing field is always a worrying playing field realistically. But they weren't massive changes. They were just, as Tom said, clarity.
For me personally, if it's affecting people who like people are trying to jump on the bandwagon of these Custodes grav tanks being undercosted and OP. If people are getting burnt because they buy those and then the points go up, I personally don't feel sorry for those people because I don't know, because I prefer to like have an army that I like and a big collection and I can.
Yeah, but everything's underpointed. Like ignoring like something crazy like Bobby G when he first came out, right? That was super too cheap. Yeah, as an example.
Well,
like,
he was bad in 7th, but in 8th he was good.
Yeah, in 8th, the beginning of 8th edition is what I mean, right?
Yeah.
You take that as an example, and he's super too cheap, right? And then maybe Predators are cheap, but then like a bunch of the Mechanicum stuff is too expensive, or whatever it is. There is a line of best fit. So while you might feel that your Bloodletters, as an example, are like priced fine, and you're like, oh, maybe they're a bit too expensive, maybe they're like 10 points too cheap, but there is like a line where they're either too cheap or too expensive to a degree, and like it's not true. What I'm trying to get at is that if it was too expensive, you just wouldn't take it. Does that make sense? So, like being burned, like you're saying there is people are making like a choice based on the fact that something might be cheap, which is fine. But then everything that you're taking that you think might be competitive is arguably a little bit cheap, or it's the most efficient, which is why you're buying it.
Well, I didn't buy my entire Chaos Marine army and bloodletters because it was OP and undercosted.
No. But it was at least effective and efficient. What you didn't buy was something that was terribly inefficient and overcosted. You were like, you just looked at it and was like, on paper, this is objectively rubbish. I won't take it.
Some of it I did.
Oh, well then, fuck me. All right, but do you see what I mean?
I was just trying to like. There's some people who just the meta chasers. My point, what I'm trying to say is, I don't feel sorry for those people who are chasing the meta and get burnt by a change in points cost for things to be more in line.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. Like when something's like crazy cheap.
Yeah.
Like the vendettas for Gene Stealer Colts.
Yes.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So back in the guys in the chat are talking about the Saurus Knight says, "I've been waiting years for my Hellhammer to work." He's just there like,
what's
come
the
on.
Hellhammer?
It's a super
very
heavy
bad tank. Yeah.
it's a very bad tank.
I've never seen one.
But overall, I'm excited that they're putting out rules, and they're putting out rules in like a consistent fashion. That makes me quite excited personally. Like,
yeah, that's cool.
I personally think that's great. Yeah, like Scriver says, fuck them though. Yeah, it wasn't a great job. It was fine. Fuck them. I agree with that. And also brave, bold. Congratulations, a bravery award this week. Our Honest War Game Bravery Award goes to Games Workshop for changing rules that aren't beta rules.
Wow.
If someone from Games Workshop wants to come around to my house and collect a crystal, they're welcome to.
We'll just mail one in. That's fine.
Yeah. We'll mail a crystal.
We'll mail a crystal in.
We'll send it in.
Send it to the police and they'll track it down.
A dude I know says 100 bits for Nikos. Salt for Nikos' meta chasing bloodletter bomb. Nikos, always you. Always you.
Cash cow, man. I'm a cash cow.
Hi, Mr. Kabowski. Right, so this weekend, just gone.
Yes.
In sunny Derby.
Yeah.
Land of... actually, the home of Tolkien and where he spent most of his summers coming up with the Elvish language.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then he just went to drink in Oxford for the rest of his time.
Yeah, not true at all, in fact.
Fake
Sorry.
news.
Nikos and the Honest Wargamer, the whole crew, we held the League of Knights round 2.
We did.
Nick, do you want to tell us what that was?
Clash 2. So it was our second. League of Knights event. So we ran our first one in December. It was backed by popular demand, and we found a different venue this time. Clem, who I spoke to at Into the Hellstorm, he said he wanted to come to our first one, so that's what we got chatting about nights.
Clem's my new drinking buddy, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah, he's cool, isn't he?
He's one of the only people bigger than me.
Yeah.
He's
a big lad, isn't he?
Yeah, he fucking shoulder bar someone right to the floor. Yeah. He's my big friend. Yeah. Nice man though, nice man.
So he said that he had a couple of sort of venues that we could use. So went and visited one. It looked pretty good. It's just like a school sports hall. So it's plenty of space for sort of 10 tables, which is what we were aiming for. Plenty of lights because the first event we held in the bar and it was very dark. And it was
atmospheric.
Thanks very much, Tom. Atmospheric, yeah.
It was atmospheric. And then because it's like quite a very narrow and odd-shaped building, like all the tables in sort of the weirdest places that we could fit them in. So this time we had lots of space, which was nice. So it's 40k with a difference. Everybody brings 2,000 points of knights, one super heavy detachment. Yeah, or knights, and then you get 9 command points. It's 4 rounds, 2 hours each. Each one's got a custom scenario, and it's alternating activations. One night. Each player alternates activating knights until they've all finished the round. It was loads of fun.
It was very fun.
Yeah, we all got to play. We had the Honest Wargamer House Robot as a spare player. So
we all got to play
at least one game.
Yeah, I got to play 2 actually.
You did.
So number one, as a review, hand dryers in the venue, excellent. That's always an important point to know. Just want to get that out there. Food was great too. Great shout.
Great. Sponsored by Umai Caf in Nottingham.
Good sponsorship there. We're not sponsored, the Honest Wargamer.
I am as a Warhammer player. Sponsored by
but Nikos has a personal sponsorship. Food was cool. But so terrain was great, table was great, and everyone who attended was great. It was just a great crowd, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was because I was sort of the TO for the event, and it's like the first one was super easy to run. Like it was the first tournament I was running, and I was a bit sort of nervous about how it would go, but it went really smoothly. The second one was even smoother, and that's not just down to us guys, but it was down to the players as well for being super cool dudes and just got on.
It was really laid back, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a great group of guys. So I got to play 2 games. So if I can give my experience as a gamer,
go for it.
So like Nick said, it was alternating activations, and having come off the back of playing 40k and AOS a lot, the first one it was like okay, just finding my feet. But as I got into the second game, like I was just when I got to play the big goldfish. Number one, he's a great dude to play Warhammer against, so that's fine, right? But secondly, and follow up, like you're so involved in the game, you don't know it. Like when because that was game 4, so the rounds we had were 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours.
2 hours because it was 2,000 points. And most of them were over quicker than that. And in some cases, Brad's case one time over almost instantaneously. We'll talk about that in a sec. But you just don't notice the time going. Like sometimes when you're watching, I don't know about you guys, but because of work, I get so many messages all the time. Which also, if I've not replied to any of your messages, someone listening, I apologise. But so many all the time that I have this almost like muscle memory instinct to pick up my phone if there's like a lull in my thoughts or. But there was just and that happens especially during Warhammer. Like you say to your opponent and it's your turn, and then all of a sudden it's like. But it's just so quick. Like you move a knight, you fire your stuff, they move a knight, and then because they're moving something, you're kind of like predicting your next move.
Yeah, you're thinking, what am I going to do next in response to that? Yeah.
And it's just happening straight away. And honestly, like I absolutely loved it. I felt super engaged. I felt like I was like really doing stuff, and then. I really did. Like, this is not just me because we did it or because we're on the show. Like, as a gamer, like, I honestly like found it really interactive, and also like it was also very swingy, like, which is like not a negative, but it is definitely something you could put a pin in and say, okay, like you are going to have to like really accept dice rolls because it was almost impossible to get anything that hit on 2s. In the exception being like the Porphyron that was rocking around,
or the Atropos.
The Atropos who gets rerolls. But apart from that, especially when you get into combat, you just like run into something, attack it, and you'd be like, right, I've got 4 attacks, and I wasn't using the feet, which was far more like it was a far better choice to always use the feet to stop.
Yeah, in the game I played, I used the chainswords all the time.
The chain swords, yeah, I did too. So 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, and you're like, and you start off with 4 dice that can kill the knight in front of you pretty much all the time, and then you usually end up with doing like 6 to 12 damage, and then they'll do some 6-up saves on it if they've got that particular house.
Yeah.
So it was super tight, and there was like a couple of times when I was playing where it came down to like you knew that was the activation because it was like, oh, your knight probably should kill my knight because my knight's half dead. You've got shooting and combat to do, but maybe not. And it was so close in some situations. It was like, and then and obviously stand out for me. A couple of the games were Big Goldfish playing against Brad, where they were just. It was like a priority roll was happening.
That game was fantastic. Yeah.
That game was fantastic. And then it came down to like a charge, and then it lived on 1 wound, and then there was some more shooting. But like
it came down to an explosion, and if the Big Goldfish blows up on a 4+ rerollable, then he wins the game. If he doesn't, then Brad wins.
Yeah,
but they had like a crowd around their table for that.
Yeah,
that was really exciting.
But then that was true. That was true of the last game as well. When when it was like super tight, and incredibly came down to a draw of all insane things, which was just really funny to witness. But everyone was just stood around, kind of watching, because it's just. Honestly, it's just really good. I do wonder, like this is not meant to be a criticism. I do wonder how good Titanicus is, just off the back of having.
If I had the brain space to pick up that game and learn it, I'd like to, because the trophies that we did for the event. So I had, we had 6 trophies. We had first, second, third, best painted, coolest dude, and then the most bloodthirsty. So whoever picked up the most night kills over over the day. And all of those trophies, I bought 6 of the the Titanicus Knight ones, and painted them up and put them on like a little wooden plinth. It's like, because they're perfect trophies for a League of Knights events.
Yeah.
And putting those kits together, they're really fun to put together. They look cool, the little tiny knights. And the prizes we gave away 2 Warlord Titans from Titanicus, 2 Reavers, and 4 Warhound.
Not normal scale.
Yeah, not Warlord scale, like the Titanicus ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the kits look really nice.
Yeah, we do.
What are the prizes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, like, but it was honestly like just watching the guys like play, and playing myself. Everything being so there being a high variance in the attack output was just like, I remember like going up to Tom, you remember when you were playing? I walked up to you and you were like, "Oh, don't worry, he's got a knight in front of me. And my secondary is to kill this guy." And then at the end of it, he was like, "He's still not fucking dead."
The Atropos just killed like all of my knights.
And like there was some interesting like tactics that I've seen, I think, develop over the first and second one. That definitely I saw. Like in my game, I got to play Witch King, which was a really cool game against his Porphyrion. So at one point in the game, I had charged his Crusader with one of my errant knights, and then what he did was he hadn't activated his Crusader yet, and he just left it in combat with my knight who'd already been, because he knew if he didn't activate it, none of my other knights could shoot it. So like that's one of the sort of little tactics that come out of alternate activations. Whereas, like if it was just I go with everything would just shoot that Crusader, and it would probably die. But because I'd committed one knight into combat with it, he can leave it there until he needs to pull it out and then shoot with it to keep it quite safe because it's in combat. So sort of little tactics like that sort of emerge with the alternate activations. Just thought was quite cool.
And honestly, like I love it, like complicated, like devious games of 40k or AOS. Like I do. And it was a lot simpler, but if anything, it allowed you to just concentrate. Like the dice rolls just seemed more important. Everything was like a bigger deal, and I honestly just had a great time playing my game. So thank you to everyone who I played. But like I just had a fun time playing.
How did you find the missions?
Missions were great too. Yeah. Like because you basically you took some AOS missions and some bolt action missions. And that was fun, and that became super tense.
And some old school 8th edition fantasy mission.
Oh, nice!
The Table Quarters one is inspired by 8th edition fantasy.
What inspired the crash landing one that you used in the first round?
Black Hawk Down. That was it's a bolt action mission, which is basically exactly the same mission called Kitty Hawk Down. Yeah. Basically, the same thing happens effectively.
It was honestly great fun. Brad Glover says, "I love the alternate activations so damn much, although I didn't really use them due to my list." Because Brad turned up with 1 Warhound Titan, which looked awesome.
Yeah,
by the way. And so he was just activating, done. And there was a couple of games of his that were over quickly because of that. Because it can't Overwatch, which is just pretty. I think a lot of people would be scared to charge it if it could Overwatch.
Yeah,
and it's probably pointed terribly. It's like it's 2,000 points on the nose. Then a Reaver Titan's 4,000 points and a Warlord 6. So they clearly have never put any thought into it. They've just picked arbitrary numbers. However, like it was wicked of him to bring it, and it looked really fun. Everyone like enjoyed playing. And then again, Witch King with his Knight Porphyrion, just shooting everyone downfield was great. Tom, you got to do some. You got to give out your hobby award, your most artisanal award.
I did. Most artistic award.
Yeah. What did you think of the level of hobby there?
It was actually really good. So for a bunch of armies that I had shortlisted, so I went around and did a shortlist, and I think it had like 5 armies on it. And even then, it was like that was a cut down version. So it was actually really, really hard to give that one out. But I went to 4 Greeners because I thought that the level of sheer artistic concentration and determination it took to do the swirly whirlies on all 5.
Yeah, he's got a lot of nice freehand.
Yeah, 4 Green was a babe as well. Like just a nice dude. Yeah. They're all just like they were all just great dudes, and it was really fun. And it's also like obviously it's not like some like 200 person event or like 100 person thing. It was like a group of guys who are willing to try something pretty different. Sounds like an interesting weekend. But what was cool was it was someone's first 40k event.
Yeah. So Pure Evil, leader of the Evil Empire, the most evil man I've ever met.
Yeah, brought his brother.
He brought his brother.
Yeah.
So it was his first 40k event, and he was on the top table in the last round. he ended up getting the most bloodthirsty award, and I think he came second overall.
And he also drew in that very last game against
that was really exciting. So going into the last round, we had Sam Dodds, James Kiernan on table 2. And then Datcom and Robin on table 1. So Datcom and James were on the same points, but Datcom got more secondaries, so he was ranked higher at that point. And then it was capture the flag, so they both have to run into the middle, capture their flag, and then run off the opposite side of the board, or get it the closest to the table edge. And somehow, so on the last turn, that was really cool to watch, because I was sort of watching the game, because everything's been packed away. It's just that last game going off.
Everyone had a crowd around the table.
Yeah, it was a crowd around the table. It was really cool. And it was really cool to watch, because I could sort of, as I saw the game happening, I could see what Datcom was sort of planning. And then, because he had his gallant in the middle with the flag, and he was just holding it off because he knew he was safe from shooting. He was just waiting to run twice towards the table edge. And his Warglaives were hunting down Robin's. I think it was his Crusader that had it.
Yeah, he's running off towards the corner.
And with his last move, he ran the gallant towards the table edge. And then I came in as an independent person to measure how far they've got, and they both had it almost exactly 7 inches from the board edge, which is in a scenario like that,
it's quite hard to do.
Yeah,
Get your microscope
so
out.
many variables going on in that game for them to both get it exactly the same distance from the table edge was crazy. But that allowed James, who won his game, to leapfrog them both into the first place spot. So, and Datcom in the last round, he rolled a 3 for his run for his gallant. So on that very single dice roll,
with no CP left,
a 1 or a 2, Robin wins the event. A 3, James wins the event, and a 4+ Datcom wins the event.
So one dice roll.
Dice roll. He had very.
Why
good
do we
odds
even
of
do the
winning
event? Just roll a dice.
Yeah. But it was he had 50% chance of winning the event on that one roll.
Yeah.
And super unlucky.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But arguably, it was very, very fun, I thought, and I know the guys enjoyed it. Loads of the guys in the chat here. So Big Old Fish, Full Green, Blind Glover, a bunch of the guys who were there at the weekend. It was really fun. So if you guys are out there,
people who won awards as well, actually.
Yeah. So the awards. So we had coolest dude was Fish.
Yeah.
So he
was the coolest dude.
He also got. There wasn't an award for this, but he's also got awarded the worst 40k player in the world.
Yeah, he got awarded that, correct. Weren't technically playing 40k, but he can still have it.
Yeah, he got the wooden spoon.
Yeah.
So the most bloodthirsty was Robin Lawrence. Best painted, Brad Glover, his Reaver with his Titan. And then third place, Datcom. Second time in a row he's come third. So very consistent. And then
special note to Clem for best painted, his army of knights.
Oh yeah,
I thought they were great.
Well,
they were really nice.
They're
Tom Wallace did them. Yeah. Talented in too many ways.
So Clem and Brad got the same amount of votes, but because Clem didn't paint his army, then it went to Brad.
Yeah,
basically.
That's fair.
And then second was Robin Lawrence, and then first place James of James Workshop.
James Workshop. He was over the moon. And he's a really nice fella as well. It was cool getting to finally hang out with the infamous James of James Workshop. It was really fun. Good event. Really, what you should be really proud of yourself. I thought.
Yeah, I was really pleased.
Which is sweet. It was cool, and maybe go on.
One fun thing we had. So to announce the start of the event and the start of each round, I'd bought something to the event, and as soon as Rob laid his eyes on my horn, he couldn't wait to get his hands on it.
My lips around that
sweet horn and start blowing my horn.
Yeah.
He couldn't
blowing the cusses horn.
So we had a little horn to announce the start of each round.
Very heraldic.
Yeah.
It felt like Sir Robert Baratheon. No, King Robert Baratheon himself was watching it.
You mean Bobby B?
Yeah, big Bobby B.
With the laser eyes.
Yeah, he was just there, just announcing, "Get on with it, man! Hit him with your sword." I should have done that. Next time, I'm going to dress
Stop
as
the
Bobby.
event before I piss myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna dress as Bobby B next time. I think.
Yeah.
But that was cool. It was a good event, really fun. Do you want to do more? Is that your thoughts?
Absolutely. Yeah. We've got a venue now that we can use again. We've got a formula for the event that's pretty nailed down. So the second one that the second one I've done, the third one should be easier because we've got a formula we can copy and paste and then just like improve it, and do more stuff.
And then Warhammer won the most artistic army award as well, didn't he?
Oh yes,
He did.
He was the most artistic.
It was very artistic. Russ says, if I play my knights some more and get better, I might try League of Knights, do it in the future. Just come and play anyway.
Just come, man. Yeah,
it's
honestly,
so easy.
It doesn't stop the big goldfish from coming. Like,
and like it's simple to get your head around, but also complex as well.
Yes,
because there are some deep tactics, and I think DC's proved that because he came third twice. He knows what he's doing. He's a good player, and he's
concentrating.
Yeah, there's a lot of tactics and play into the mission and the scenario, the secondaries, as well.
We'll also attach the player pack to if you listen to this as a podcast or if you're watching on YouTube, I'll attach the player pack so you guys can download it and try it out yourself wherever you are in the world.
Yeah,
it's really easy to do, and also a lot of people rocking have got a bunch of Imperial Knights right now, knocking around in their houses or your local friends, and it's for like a pickup game, you and your friends, you want to have fun. I honestly can't I play I do a lot of wargaming. I do a lot of wargaming coverage, and I do it as a job. So I find the whole thing usually quite exhilarating. But I had particular fun that day. And I remember noting to myself and saying I should because of the ease. The mission was really easy. The pack had been laid out really easy to do. Me and Fish just lost keeping track of our score because we were just like trying to murder each other. Like we were just having a really good time. But at no point, like nothing was janky, nothing was weird, and it's probably just because, and when we've done the coverage and done other stuff, I think mirror matches just feel like this wonderful.
I love
thing.
Mirror matches.
Yeah, like I thought that they would be boring, but they're strangely very fun.
It's like playing chess when you know you both have exactly the same pieces, right?
Yeah, we'll attach the packs. So if you guys are somewhere in the world and you want to play it with your friends and you're listening to this, I encourage you to do so. Get a couple of Imperial Knights out, or even a couple of the little the Helverins and the Warglaives. Warglaives are doing some pretty good work over the weekend.
Yeah, I think the top 4 lists, at least remember maybe the top 5, all had some Warglaives or Helverins in, and I think they are. From watching some of the games and at the weekend, I definitely think those little effectively chaff in that scale game were very, very useful. I know speaking to James after the event, he was saying in his last game in particular, the Warglaives, the Helverins, won in the game because he just used them to block. Like his Lancer went into the middle, stole the flag, ran off, and then he just put his Helverins in the way, just as speed bumps. So his Lancer could get away with the flag.
There's a good question in the chat from Loki. He says, have you thought about a more narrative-based tourney once Chaos Knights have finally been released? That would be quite cool.
That would be quite cool. That could be fun.
Yeah, I did, because obviously there's 4 missions in the tour, 4 rounds in the tournament. Because we've done 2 now, we're a bit more used to it. Like I said, we've got a formula we can copy and paste. Now I can try and add a bit more narrative to it. One thing I did think, a special rule that I put in this time, a special rule for each mission, and the first mission special rule was Fog of War, which limited line of sight to 12, 18, 24, 36 inches, which was like an attempt to sort of balance, as in give combat armies more of a chance in that particular mission. And then there was one rule which was a detriment to faster moving combat armies as well. One thing I did think is if you had like a day and night thing, so you have 2. So you start the story.
Oh right, at night, it progresses towards
at night. So there's a fog of war, so it's dark, and then you can have an interlinking story between all 4 missions, which would be quite cool. And then you could have like
announced by a man with a trumpet.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
But then if Chaos Book is out between now and the next one, it'd be cool if we had half people playing Chaos Knights and half people playing.
Yeah, and then they could team up, right? You can put like a score up and be like, who's winning the most? Yeah, that makes loads of sense.
Well, could you make it like a farmer dispute over land?
Yeah, I mean it's basically all it's about, right? Like trade rights over over by the factory robots.
Just space factors, fine.
It's very fun. A very different way of playing 40k with your models. Really interesting, and the alternating activation kind of got me like a little bit jonesed up realistically. And we talk about 40k a lot, and the first term problem, which I don't think me and Tom have discussed this. I do think there is, but at some points in the game. But I don't
we
think
can have a proper discussion about this at some point.
I don't think it's the first turn problem. I think it's everything in one turn
is the problem.
Yeah. All of my army activating all at once is the problem.
Yeah.
Not necessarily who goes first or second.
It just takes it's because of the ranges involved as well. Like pretty much everything can hit, right? Like, or if you haven't put everything that can hit in your army, probably. Let's go back to the famous discussion with me and Tom about the Butcher autocannons on a dreadnought, and Tom being like, they're 24 inches.
Leviathans,
we're like, I'll never be near them, and I was like, but you might be, and realistically, he's right because all your shit is just going to be longer, right? What range is that weapon? 24 inches.
Well, my shit's always longer, but.
Anyway, so I had a really good fun time. Thank you very much, Nick, for doing it.
Yeah,
pleasure.
Yeah, Tom, did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, I had fun. I went for a walk on my dead leg.
Yeah, as a 40k player who's played at like some pretty like top levels, what are your thoughts about it as a way to play?
I need to play more of it because I've only played like 3 or 4 games of it personally. Obviously, if it's enjoyable, then you could probably like build something around it because if lots of people like enjoy it, they'll come and play, and if lots of people come and play, then you can build something competitive around it, right? It's just an entirely different like game, really. At the end of the day.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Nick, what do you think?
Well, obviously, I'm a bit biased because I've sort of written the rules for it and the missions. I really like. I think the missions are a really great balancer for it, and the alternate activations obviously help balance it. And like I said, I do think there is skill and tactics involved, as well as it being a very new person friendly event as well. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
And I had loads of fun in my game. The game I played against Rich Game was really cool because I was up. Because it's five turns. It's set as 5 turns. So I was up in turn 1 and 2, and then 3, and then he was able to sort of wipe me out and then score enough points to win by a couple of points.
Yeah.
So that was sort of a really tense and exciting game.
Oh, okay. All right. Yarfest in the chat just says, I've got another person addicted to 40k. He says
nice.
maybe he'll come to the League of Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah. RIP his bank account.
Feels bad, man.
Have you seen that? I think it's a Huffington Post article where it's like a spoof article where it's like local Games Workshop store have event and it's just people throwing money at each other.
Oh yeah,
it was just people throwing money at each other. That was the joke.
Borrow to win, everyone, not pay to win. That's the future. All right. Well, unless anyone else has got anything 40k related today, we're gonna close it up for the day. I was meant to be doing my new army section, but I just got so much to do for the weekend that which is cool, right? Because we did also 40k guys. I know I said this last week. If any of you are involved in the GoFundMe, massive thank you. One of the reasons that I've got to do loads of work for the weekend is because you guys have been so supportive. I want to make sure the coverage is really good, and also it's really good practice when we do the 40k coverage at Canhammer. Not of Canhammer, of the CCBB, because it would be nice to do some world class 40k coverage. We already did pretty great at the LCO.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to do an even better job and show everyone in the world how you're meant to do it. Yeah, which will be fun, right?
Are you going to be sending Val around the hall?
No, he'll be doing commentating. I think it's going to be it'll be Darren or the other guys who are going to be doing the in-field reporting. But we've got a crew. It's going to be really exciting. We might have our fancy spinny cameras, so you're going to get some pretty.
They spin onto a dice tray, Rob?
They will never spin onto a dice tray. I would just use a static camera onto a dice tray because I'm not a moron. Or to quote Jonathan, I'm not 5. Yeah. We'll get them to spin onto models and things, which people like. But yeah, fancy fucker cameras says hook and pin. That's what we'll have. So yeah, looking forward to that. So we've got some stuff to do. But you guys have been great. Join us again next week where it'll be me, Tom, and a special guest because Nikos won't be here.
No,
me and Nikos can't actually be in the studio at the same time.
Anymore.
Make of that what you will.
Yeah. There's been a divide.
Is there
I'm always the same person, and I'm just a pre-recorded Nikos.
Nick, how do you feel about being
different
the same person as Tom?
We're the same person, just from different timelines.
Right.
Oh, that's awkward.
Right. So you guys have been great. Nick and Tom, thank you for being on the show.
No, anytime. Good fun.
Pleasure.
Thank you to everyone at home. You guys are brilliant. Thank you to everyone on Patreon and Twitch. You guys are wonderful. And just thank
you for being on the show as well, Rob.
it's more than a pleasure. I'm very lucky to have fun with you guys. See you guys soon. Bye.